Next game on the list, we got Chicago Bears versus Carolina Panthers. Interesting line, which we'll get to in a bit. Chicago coming off Thursday Night Football. Nick Foles working his Nick Foles magic. The most unimpressive victory I can remember watching. But hey, Chicago wins. Good for Chicago. Look, they played Indianapolis and Tampa Bay, who have two pretty good defenses, the first two games of Nick Foles. So I'm still a buyer on Nick Foles. Not worried about that at all. The running, you talked about Carolina's rushing when we did another segment, I believe the Atlanta game. David Montgomery should be a start this week. Foles, I'm still a wait and see. I wouldn't start him. Superflex, maybe I'd take a chance. Allen Robinson's a start. And I stay away from everybody else outside of maybe Jimmy Graham, but I don't like the target total. You're basically touchdown or nothing with Jimmy Graham. Carolina, on the other hand, look, it's Chicago's defense. I've been a buyer on them since before the season started. They're playing very, very good football, so I'm going to sit Teddy Bridgewater. I'll start Mike Davis. I've been saying ever since he took over, this offense is good for running backs. I know he's no Christian McCaffrey, but he's still pretty damn good, everybody. So Mike Davis, I'm a start. DJ Moore got in the end zone. It was nice to see, but it was really just kind of a short pass that he took the distance, so I wouldn't say it's anything you feel great about if you're a DJ Moore owner. But Robbie Anderson continues to out-target him. He's a start every week at this point. He's a wide receiver one, I think. For Carolina, stay away from tight ends. So that's basically it. You got David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, Mike Davis, and then Robbie Anderson. And I do have DJ Moore getting into the end zone as an upset candidate this week, but again, I don't feel great if I'm a DJ Moore owner. I'm certainly not trying to trade for him, not having any shares of him. So take it away, David.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this is not going to be what a lot of DJ Moore owners want to hear. But you probably got to sell high on this, guys, after this game, because like you said, the touchdown was a long, 56-yard run after the catch that he got in. And that's been his problem, guys, is getting into the end zone. He's just not a touchdown scorer. He had 4 touchdowns in each of his first 2 years. I believe this is this his first touchdown this year?
I believe so.
He's now firmly the wide receiver 2 behind Robbie Anderson, and Mike Davis is getting a ton of targets. Talk about when McCaffrey comes back, they're going to play both McCaffrey and Davis. Then you add in Robbie Anderson. I like Teddy Bridgewater just because of the weapons surrounding him, but DJ Moore, if I can take my 4th, 5th running back and package him with DJ Moore and find a RB needy team, or package him with a backup tight end and try and go after a Michael Thomas or something where I can just get out on DJ Moore and kind of try and sell high and maybe buy low on an elite wideout. I'm absolutely trying to do that. On the other side, the Bears, you talk about Nick Foles. I mean, I guess in Superflex, you don't really have a choice. If there's nothing out there, you're probably choosing between Nick Foles and Kyle Allen or Alex Smith for what's available on waivers. Mm-hmm. In one QB, you can forget about him. He's at least keeping Allen Robinson alive and productive, and it looks like Robinson's better off with Foles than Trubisky. That looks pretty clear at this point, so that's another positive. David Montgomery, you start him in the right matchup, but again, it's just like the Gurley thing.
I agree.
After your running back plays Carolina, sell him.
Exactly.
If they're a crap running back, sell them the very next week.
I agree. I mean, I'm a perpetual fader of David Montgomery, but with Cohen out, I mean, basically Cordero Patterson has taken over the Tariq Cohen realm of being your pass catching running back.
Montgomery's getting a good amount of reception.
He is.
Since Cohen's gone out.
And this matchup is really good. Usually I fade Montgomery. This week I have him firm as a start. And let me ask you this. This is not what Christian McCaffrey owners want to hear, but something we've been talking about all offseason. We know this offense. We know the snap count distribution historically of what they've done with running backs. If you're Carolina, why wouldn't you rotate Mike Davis in based on what you've seen to keep McCaffrey fresh? They're 3-2 now, David. They're a playoff threat at this point. Their defense is playing better. I know they still have some holes to fill. Why wouldn't you rotate in Mike Davis? What has he shown on film that leads you to believe let's cut Christian McCaffrey's workload by 10%, coming off an injury, mind you. Let's keep him fresh for a stretch run. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, as a Mike Davis, if you have him on your roster in a redraft league. I mean, obviously in a dynasty you want to try and sell high because we don't know if he's going to have any value beyond this year. But in a redraft, I mean, who's gonna pay you for the production that he's producing right now? You're not going to really get anything from Mike Davis unless it's a team who's absolutely desperate for a running back, needs a win this week and the next, like their life depends on it.
Right.
Like, you might as well just keep this guy at this point. See what happens when McCaffrey comes back, because who knows? Maybe he is still. Maybe they use him as the goal line back. Maybe the amount they're targeting the running backs, maybe he still is able to have somewhat of a matchup dependent, flex worthy role. So I wouldn't let go of Mike Davis. I definitely wouldn't release him when McCaffrey comes back. Let's wait and see how this plays out, because he could still have some value even when McCaffrey returns. He's playing that well.
Let me hit you with the line here. Chicago +3 versus Carolina.
I'm gonna take Carolina here, just because I don't believe in Chicago's 4-1 record. I don't believe they're that good of a team, and I think they're due to come back. What do they call that? The analysts, just regression to the mean a little bit there.
I'm gonna take Chicago, man. I'm a believer in the defense, and I'm staking my flag. I think Foles throws for 3 touchdowns this week. I think Chicago getting points here. I know it's at Carolina. Maybe if this was a regular season, like a regular season where we got crowds there, maybe I'd give that home field advantage a little bit more credit. But I'll take Chicago here, man. Their defense is strong, and I think Bridgewater has a tough game, and for that reason, I think it's a closer one. And I'll take the points here. I actually think Chicago wins that game.